Go.
Streaming from South Africa to the world. This is the Stonks Go Moon podcast. What just happened? We break it down so you don't have to.
Welcome everyone to the Stonks Go Moon podcast. My guest today, Tara Harris. She is in charge there at Nifty Gateway Studios. Welcome to the pod.
Thank you for having me. Nice to meet you.
So, keen listeners would have picked up, I added a studios at the end. We are so used to saying Nifty Gateway, right? So you guys transitioned a bit, I wouldn't say away from a marketplace, but to more a studio based environment. First of all, why? And second, how was that transition for you?
Yeah, it was, in hindsight, a long time in the making. I think, Nifty Gateway has always been in a fortunate position. We've had, the great backing of Gemini. We've had a great infrastructure. We were able to bring things to market, kind of the first to bring some of these major players in the space to market, work with some of the major partners. And that allowed us to try out a lot of different use cases. And what became clear to us really at the end of 2023 is we had lost our footing. We had forgotten what made Nifty Gateway special in the beginning. And that was this really powerful custodial infrastructure that supports us. And I think, Web 2.5 is often a very dirty word in Web 3, but the reality is it's necessary to have that stepping stone so that we can grow this space. And that stepping stone for us really took shape and form in using Web 2.5 to develop these exceptional creative experiences that were attractive and accessible to the global masses. And so at the beginning of this year, we had a bit of soul searching, really, quite honestly, killed off everything that we weren't best in class at. If we couldn't be best in the world at it, it's gone. And focused on the one product that really we are excellent at, and that is developing exceptional creative experiences built on chain. And to signal that change and hold ourselves accountable, we renamed ourselves, Nifty Gateway still, but Studios. Very clear indicator.
So walk me through a little bit. What does an experience look like from the outside in? Let's say if you would explain it to me.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think, historically, when we think about the future of NFTs, we think about it as the future of art. For us, this is more about the future of entertainment. It is bigger than just art. It's bridging Web3, art, and entertainment. And really, it's a difficult question to answer because this is, from my perspective, a net new consumer industry. I don't think we fully understand the edges of what this looks like, but we know a few truths, to be strong in that there is clear value to consumers by putting things on chain and using blockchain technology to deliver things: accessibility, ownership, new sources of value. So we know that Web3 brings clear value to our consumers. We saw this with Starbucks. We know that there is a rich ecosystem of artists, creators, musicians who use technology and digital mediums to bring ideas to life in new and novel ways. And quite frankly, the entertainment industry, which used to be hallmarked by innovation, has grown quite stale. We've kind of lost the plot on that. And so we see this as an opportunity to reimagine what consumer participation means in an entertainment product. And as a consumer engaging with Nifty Gateway Studios, what you can expect from that is, where in the past it was a one-off drop. Happens, 90 seconds of magic and money making, and then it falls off a cliff. For us, this is like really identifying those big ideas from strong artists that we can bring to market in I almost don't want to call it a drop, because it's so much more from that. And you'll see with our first one in August with Dave Krugerman what that feels like. But it is an experience, the buying, the engagement. Even if you're just a spectator, it's an experience that you can participate in. And then that continues to develop and grow over time. And I think that's really critical. We call it the third chapter of these productions. How do we continue to grow this creative idea over a period of time to build a legacy for the artist and create these lasting communities and sources of value for the consumers?
It's uncharted territory. We'll have to see
It
how
is.
that pans
It
out.
is.
Interesting. What type of artists are you looking to onboard?
Yeah, so our the artists that we are working with right now and are really best suited to work with Nifty Gateway Studios are artists who are a little bit more established. It's not necessarily your emerging artists. There's a lot of great tools and platforms to support emerging artists, which are obviously critical to, you know, diversity in a creative space. But for us, it's artists who have long-term intentions and big ideas that they haven't been able to bring to life because they're limited by traditional mediums. So we give them the full support of Nifty Gateway and a little bit of Gemini, to be honest, everything from a dedicated producer to work with them as a strategic partner. You know, there's lawyers involved, there's product, engineers, design, marketing, promotion, and this is like a 6-month long process. So we really invest a ton into these. So you've got to have enough. The idea it's really about the idea more than the artist. Got to be big enough.
Do they get to sit down with the twins?
They do not get to sit down with the twins, but the twins are very much across what we do and huge supporters of Nifty Gateway and kind of the creative cultural movement that we're trying to create.
I think that's evident because when they when they bought the company, it's not like they've sold it or they've tried to do anything. Actually, it's gone from strength to strength. So if Gemini believes in it, then yeah, there's something here. There is still something here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're very lucky to be in the position that we are. It's a very unusual business place for a startup. A very enviable one, I will say. Glad to be at the helm of it.
So I'm going to stick my neck out and say, okay, all right. Don't know where this is going to go, but let's see. Okay, there's a growing sentiment, right? Let me phrase like that NFTs might be back, right? How do you feel about that statement?
It's an interesting statement. I think this is a very young industry. Yeah. And the market cycles that we've experienced are honestly very consistent with other emerging tech trends and market patterns. I see this less of a revival because that implies that we have reached a place of stability and maturity that then fell off a cliff and came back. Like, I think we're just trying to find our footing. And now we're starting to see those green shoots of stability and maturity that's going to allow us to grow. So I know everyone always says back or revival. I don't think we're there. I mean, maybe in 5 years we can have a revival, but I think we're still trying to figure out how to make this work in the long term.
It's funny how trends these days come and go so fast, and people want to sort of give birth to something and then kill it within the same year. It doesn't work like that. This thing is a living thing. It's going to change. It's going to go through iterations, and it's going to become something totally different in the future. You can't just say, "Yeah, no, cool, this is dead," just because some startups failed. I mean,
no, I mean, if you just look at, you know, simple things like Gartner's hype cycle. I mean, this isn't new. What we're going through is not new or novel, right? This happens everywhere. And I think I love where we are now because, you know, you have kind of 3 fractions in the space and you're starting to see these. There's not a lot of everybody who's just trying to copy what the other guys are doing are closing shop. They don't have the product market fit. They don't have the differentiation to sustain it and to make it a profitable business. You still have some companies who are very short-term focused and just squeezing liquidity out of the market. Fine, you know, that you do you. And then you have another group who I like to think Nifty's in. Yeah. And it's a small group from what I can tell, but who are really making some hard choices and being like, what are we actually good at? And what can we continue to do for 10, 20, 30 years? Yeah. You know, our first 3 years of our life was just constant reimagination, which is great, which is healthy as a startup, but you got to stop that at some point. Yeah.
Let's talk about the work that you're doing with Jose Delbo, the late great Jose
Yeah.
Delbo, Argentinian artist. For those that don't know him, did comic books, drawings, illustrations for DC and Marvel. I think Wonder Woman and Transformers. What are you guys doing with his legacy work?
Yeah, so this is a really meaningful drop for us. I mean, Jose Delbo left a lasting legacy, not just in NFTs, but to your point, in mainstream culture as well. Working on Batman, Superman, 101 Dalmatians. These are like iconic moments in entertainment and culture. And this drop for me really acknowledges, it's kind of like the first domino to fall. This acknowledges that bridge, right? We're going from the iconic past of mainstream entertainment to what will become the future of entertainment. And fast follow to this is what we consider kind of our first official studio production, which is with Dave Krugman. And that is really the first chapter of what we hope to be a lasting legacy for Dave Krugman on chain, very similar to what Jose Delbo is able to do, bridging from mainstream culture into NFTs. And so there's really this nice, I mean, I love tying things up with a bow and kind of packaging things, but there's this nice kind of theme of legacy building and kind of long-term horizon and doing that through innovation, which is really special.
So when does it open up for, we'll say for retail, but for customers?
The Jose Delbo drop?
Yes.
Yeah, the Jose Delbo drop is on July 23rd. And it's cool. It's the
so my son's birthday.
Back. Yeah, oh, is it? That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. How cool is that? July 23rd.
That's really cool.
How cool is that? Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, the serendipity of that. And it's an interesting drop, building on that theme of legacy. It's not just his last collection before he passed, but it's actually his spin on great artists of the past and their legacy through his eyes. So it's just, I mean, the layered messaging on this is really quite profound.
Who came to you guys?
We love celebrating artists' lives.
Yeah. Who came to you guys? Was it his family? Was it trust?
So we have a great team of, we call them producers. They've always been called producers, actually, even before we started making productions. And they are kind of dedicated strategic partners to artists in the space, and they have their own stable, if you will, of artists that they work with. And Chris Lee, one of our great producers who also works with Sam Spratt, works with Jose Delbo, now his family, his children, to help pull this off.
And I mean, how awesome for his family, right? To have that legacy on chain forever. I mean, that's pretty epic.
It's pretty epic. It was, it's something that obviously we are going to do, celebrating his life. He's such an amazing artist. Just think of being able to, in your career, go from, Superwoman to NFTs, like the openness to new technology and how to deploy that and take a creative spin on it is really just amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me today. If the listeners want to find out more about, well, I'd say you and Nifty Gateway Studios and the drop, where can they do that?
Best place is niftygateway.com, or we're all on Twitter. So if you want to DM, we're a pretty open book. We love talking to our collectors and our community. And we're always evolving what Nifty Gateway Studios will offer and how these drops will unfold. So those are the best two places.
I love it. Also love it that we are still calling it Twitter. Sorry, Elon.
Oh gosh, sorry. Yes, I know.
And
I've got other habits I got to work on. That's not my priority one.
No, right. I will put all the links in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me today. And to all listeners, go check out the drop. Peace, love, and prosperity.
Creators converge, feel the beat. In the NFT realm, victory sweet. Jose Delbo's brush, breaking the mold. Our resurgence, a tailboat. Like a phoenix, we blaze. From the ashes, we raise. NFT rebirth, hear the call. A new era. In the NFT realm, victory sweet. Jose doubles brush, breaking the mold. Our resurgence, a temple. Like a phoenix, we blaze from the ashes.